Today I'm taking my Audi RS3 in to get looked at the dealership. Why? Check engine light. I'm interested to see what they say about it. I've already used an OBD2 scanner to pull the code that it's thrown off of it, and it's a engine to lean at idle error, which is, I would assume, pretty damn mild, considering engines usually run pretty damn lean at idle. That's kind of how they get all their efficiency. So I'm not sure what that's all about. A quick bit of Googling suggests it could be anything from an injector not quite seated correctly leaking. I'm assuming it's using a narrowband O2 sensor. So theoretically, if there was a crack in the exhaust manifold or somewhere in the turbo, that could let in a little bit more oxygen, and that would make it read lean. But considering it's happening at idle, I'm probably going to assume it's something more inherent to how the car is tuned, like a slight bug in its standard tuning. Because usually, if you have problems that are physical, they show themselves at load rather than at an idle state. I'm not taking the car to the dealership that I purchased it from, simply because it's a little bit further away. There's one that's a bit closer to my place. But the one that I am taking it to actually wouldn't let me take an RS3 for a test drive when I was considering purchasing one. The salesman offered a test drive, went to go get the keys off the general manager or sales manager, who looked at me and told him not to let me have a test drive. So, as you can imagine, I'm not a big fan of them in general. So I'm quite interested to see what they do during servicing, because, I don't know, straight up judging someone just from a quick glance doesn't really suggest particularly great morals. That's a good one. The RS3 up from Audi, and apparently there was a software conflict. I don't know what that means, but the result was that they flashed a new version of the car's firmware, effectively its ECU software, onto the car, and apparently this resolves the issue. They said that there have been a number of instances where the new model RS3 has thrown this code. It's just run a little bit lean at idle. They did say it runs a little bit lean in general, which I hope not. I don't want my cylinders to melt. But yeah, apparently it's a known issue and this should be a fix, but I guess time will tell. I'm interested to see what other patches they've made to the software. Usually when you do a fix to software, unless they've got some really bad release scheduling, they probably won't have cherry-picked that one patch onto the software. They've very likely got a number of revisions in there. So I'm interested to see what else they've changed. We'll see if they fix the setting off from stop issue when you don't have traction control off. I feel like I'm getting slightly different throttle response, but that's very likely to be just wishful thinking from me. It does mean I'm going to be paying quite a lot of attention to what the car's doing to see if I can pick up anything. So, well, the oil's up to temperature, so we all know what that means. So today, on the way home from work, I got a check engine light. Obviously not very fun, but what are you going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is find, here it is, this little guy. So this is an OBD2 adapter, a Bluetooth one. The case kind of fell off, so it's a little bit ghetto looking, but it still does the job. And I'm going to plug that into just under here, which you probably can't see. So let me just switch it over to using light mode. Okay, so under here, there's an OBD2 port. We take our adapter, plug it in the port. Pretty simple. It does lots of blinking and stuff, and generally does what you'd hope. And then, phone, I need to open up an app, which means I can't use my phone to record. So the video quality is probably going to get a little bit better, but that's right. Alright, so the process is I open up an app called, there are many different apps. I use one called Talk. Looks substantially like this because this is it. Hopefully it'll connect, so not set up. I might have to turn the car on to do this. Well, we'll do that. Cool. Oh, there we go. Your Bluetooth adapter's connected. Now it's connected to the car. So we can go to fault codes. Unsurprisingly, this RS3 is quite loud. So refresh. No, we can do. What do we do? Yeah, refresh. So refresh. It's gonna try and pull all the fault codes. There we go. System 2 lean at idle bank 1. That is not surprising at all. That's the exact same fault code I had last time when I took my car into Audi. So obviously their patch didn't really do what it was supposed to do. But that's alright, whatever. It's 2 litre idle. It's not exactly the worst thing in the entire world. So your engine running a bit lean, all that means is it's just not putting as much fuel in as it should be for safe operation. Under load, and especially for extended periods of time, that can be a serious problem. You can melt pistons, you can melt all kinds of stuff. In the case of idle, you'll probably notice slightly rougher idle. You probably notice a couple little lags at takeoff, but unless it's like severely lean, it probably won't do much except use less fuel. So it doesn't concern me humongously. It doesn't concern Audi either. They were pretty much just casual about it. They didn't really faze them too much. But it does mean I'm going to have to take the car back in. So you can see here it is running, and you can see a beautiful little check engine line. Great. And you can see on my phone, system 2 lean at idle, bank 1, current fault. I can, if I want to, clear my faults, but I get the feeling that Audi wouldn't be a big fan of me doing that. That said, I might give them a ring and see what they want me to do. If they say, you know, whatever, we don't have a fix for it, feel free to clear it, then I'll do that. But I'm guessing they'll probably want to clear it themselves. So yeah. Oh well. What are you gonna do? It's a new engine, as in new engine for Audi. It's a brand new engine. So I'm sure they'll have a couple little bugs like this. Considering there are other models who are cracking blocks, I think a 2 linear idle cell is not a big deal, so I'm not really that concerned. But hey, that's how it goes.